there tonight. 64 degrees altitude. We got a 94% wax and gibbous a couple of nights before full. What's up, Jared? Pierce, you're first. I know there are a couple hanging out, but I feel like some people aren't getting notifications, so we'll see. Everybody shuffling into the space theater tonight. It's perfectly clear skies, and the moon is like sharp for a second and then going in and out of focus because it's so high up there. But we're gonna also get a shot tonight of M42. Orion is coming up in the east. Planets Jupiter and Saturn have already set at this point, and Uranus is a little too high north. It's like on the 70 degree. Not really possible, but we'll have some nice loon and nice tune. Run it from here. going on? How you feeling, Ellie Wynn? What's going on, Duplicat? And everybody hanging out? Doesn't seem like that many are here tonight. It's all good. Still gonna stream, watch this beautiful moon. It's cutting through the jet stream up north, or like it's really crazy currents going through it right now. Like at 60 degrees plus, and then tomorrow I think it'll be even higher. I'm feeling good, just feeling a little bit tired, but good. I wanted to stream a bit earlier, but I had things to do. And I finally got a chance to sit down, have some dinner, and then I set up very slowly and deliberately. I aligned 2-star alignment tonight, Difta and Fomalhaut. So we got some nice tracking, and I added the front dew kind of a shield for the scope because it's looking directly up in case things drop into it. And yeah, it's looking really nice. A couple of days away from full. Energy has shifted a bunch because it's very cold. It's not cold, it's temperate, but it dropped a bunch of degrees in Central Florida. And it's nice, actually. I got a sweater out and got the door open. I don't feel like my brain is melting like I normally do, so that's good. Just gonna play some tunes here and chill with y'all for a couple hours, watch this moon, and like I said earlier, gonna try and get a shot of M42. That's also coming up soon because Orion is rising earlier and earlier, and it should be coming up behind the moon shortly. So Rigel, Betelgeuse, and Orion's belt will come up with Hatsia, and we'll try and check it out a little bit. There's so much to catch up on. I know a couple of y'all have been leaving me comments, but they don't seem to persist for some reason, so I'm just gonna reference them here, and in case you hear this show. What's going on, Oksana? How's it going? So I got a notification from Mythos, which I think is Tess, and on Light of the Moon from a couple of days ago, and she says, wow, I love the music and the moonshots, of course. And the night before says, very nice, but for some reason I can't see them under the video. But thank you for the kind words. And there's so much stuff in Discord that I have to catch up on. Maybe I'll catch you on the show tomorrow or today, whenever you're listening to it. Ellie Wynn, my cat named Baby Sats. Baby Sats? That's pretty funny. Baby Sats meow. That sentence is just cracking me up, but I don't understand it. My cat named Baby Sats. If it fits, I sits. And then same thing with Mary. Mary quite leaves me comments often, but I never see them under the video. They're only in my notification list, and when I click on them, they disappear. So oh, and the lamentation of the day is that yesterday the weather front moved in so quickly and persistently that I broke my moon streak. I was on 10 days, and yesterday was day 11, and I couldn't get a single shot. I literally waited all day and all night, and then just called it. So whatever. I figure if there are going to be fronts coming in through November, it's not something I really want to deal with. I gave it a good shot, and I'll still keep going, of course. Today's day 12. If I really wanted to, I could fill in yesterday's image with a bunch of other images, really the tough shots if you want to get like one of those posters that starts the moon from beginning to end. It's really the first moon, like the 4%, and it's the last few, which really are just so difficult because you have to wait up late, and then it has to not be hazy, and then if the sun rises, it's almost impossible to get that shot. Yeah, I don't know why certain people's messages just don't. It's not like a like approved disapproved issue either. It just for some reason just doesn't show up. But anyway, I appreciate all the kind words and comments. And what's yeah, I missed a night. I know how it goes. It humbles you. Especially because like the rest of the month might have other storms and I'm not going to stress out. I've learned to just chill out about it. Alright, I'm going to let this tune play. And then I think tomorrow, or probably the day after, yeah, well, what's interesting is, of course, on Monday morning at like 7:30 a.m., I'm going to try and set up for the Mercury transit. I'm not going to try. I'm going to definitely set up for the Mercury transit. Hopefully the weather is going to be clear. I'll check it again tomorrow. But Monday afternoon or evening is the full moon, the beaver moon. And so I'll be playing some guitar on the other setup on the 11th. I feel like the sun coming up on the 11th for the Mercury transit. So 7:30 a.m. I'm going to try and set up. 8 a.m. try and go live. Like I'd love to go live before Mercury enters the sun's domain. But yeah, that's what's going on. I'll be back, gonna get myself a little drink. And maybe something with a little more bass, right? That's how I feel tonight. I think I forgot to put bass on this track. That's what happens. What about this one? But I think this still doesn't have enough bass. Let's try this one. Yeah, this has the proper amount of bass. I, Ellie Wynn. What's up there, Chris Kelly? Moonbase. Welcome, welcome. So let me know what the weather is looking like by y'all. Are you seeing this moon? It's so damn bright tonight. Like I can see it casting this crazy glow on the scope from inside. Yeah, the other one definitely didn't have enough bass. I want to keep it going here. What's up there, Mary? Hey, homies. So gangsta. Spice gangsta. I hope you're feeling better. I know you weren't feeling too good for a while, but I hope you have healed. I hope you have healed. All my some words for you. I saw that For All Mankind ad. So many simulations of the moon. It's almost depressing. And then I remember I've got a scope. And honestly, there's only a few commercials, but there's night after night after night after night of the moon and the stars. And ultimately, corporations can only pay for a certain number of ads and personalities. And if you set up, you can watch space all day long without all these people. What up, 24/7? Live as skies. Yo, it's live as skies. I'm feeling a little delirious tonight. It's a bit late. I've been working all day. Oh, I thought you were... I think I misunderstood that. I thought that was like the Samsung ad. For All Mankind is the movie, right? Let me look at the poster right here. No, I definitely haven't seen this one. Oh, but look, Penny is in it. Not Penny's boat. Is that it? Really? No, that's not it. Or is it a show? I can't tell anymore. It looks like a trailer. American web television series. Okay, so it is. Alright, I'm being dense. So it's an Apple TV Plus series about, I guess, the moon, the Apollo missions. I'm just looking at some media. I don't know, it just depresses the heck out of me. Just more and more footage that basically sullies and kind of tarnishes all the data we have and just makes it indecipherable at this point. I'm never going to be able to tell if there's a real moon mission ever again, pretty much. What up, Fantasy Ecstasy? How you doing? So I was just talking for a second, lamenting this amazing TV series. Duplicate proposes a new TV series. Military takes over NASA in the 70s, builds a moon base to beat the Russians to Mars. Would somebody explain this idea that you have to beat the Russians at something in order to, like, honestly, like, I've seen that sentence and that phrase so many times, this idea that America has to posture militarily, but it's such crap. It's total crap. America's been the most powerful nation forever, forever. And it has no reason to beat the Russians at anything. It's just, I think the whole Cold War thing was just such a bullshit propaganda machine, propaganda distraction for something else. But anyway, this idea that people are beating people. Nobody's beating anyone. People are doing all the same thing over and over and over again. And ultimately, the rich collude and the poor fail. It's really simple. What's up, Miguel Gonzalez? How's it going? I'll cheers you with some water. I'd love to have some coffee, but actually I do have some good drinks tonight. I'll get myself an actual drink and toast with y'all. Let me put a tune on, and we'll drink to November. Oh, that's what... I know, I'm totally being dense. That's what the series is about, right? I know. Dragon's Den glass. If we went to the moon 50 years ago, we should be taking holidays on the moon by now. Guys and gals, I just caught the remote from falling by grabbing it with my foot. No crash tonight. Okay, so, I don't know, I'm so sick and tired of complaining and or justifying why we are not on the moon, because it would make sense that if there's very high-level technology like anti-gravity or traveling along filamentary currents in space, then there's probably like a massive mission where like there are tons of moon missions that we don't know about. So if that possibility exists, and I think it does, it's really hard to speculate as to like why we haven't gone, can we go, what the deal is. Basically becomes impossible. And it seems like that type of technology does kind of exist. In fact, it's probably like 50 to 100 years ahead of where we're at now, and therefore, like, that's the way it's going to be. It's proprietary technology. No corporation's going to reveal secrets, and they shouldn't. That's the way they operate. Businesses don't operate transparently, otherwise they're not businesses. So some people think we did go, some people think we didn't. Does it matter? Like, all we really have as people is the wherewithal to get, like, I'm saying like a lot tonight, but as people to get a telescope or a camera, binoculars, to go out in the field, to look at YouTube. We can't get rockets to the moon ourselves, so being reliant on a space or governmental agency to perform what is next to, like, you know, a psychedelic miracle of achievement is a very strange place to be, to have to like justify it or to believe in it. Either way feels shitty, to be honest. The best place to be is like, I don't know, I don't care, but I really like the way the moon looks right now, and that's what we got, you know. It's a bit cynical today, but like I read so many articles, we're going back, we're gonna go now, but we're not going for 2024, and then maybe we'll go in 2030, but maybe scientists have maybe discovered if they could possibly do something 30, 50 years from now. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, do we really live in this age where that's how science operates? Trickle down and funding, and it's all about money. It's all about like eking out a tiny bit of technology to the people and preserving 95% of it for business benefit. Yeah. How we done? What's going on? Valeria Weidman, what's going on? Weidman? I hope I'm not saying it right. But anyway, nice to see you. It's been a while. Let's bounce to some bass. hop in here and chat a little bit about this topic because it's important. The idea of reducing things down to this black and white concept is just something I disagree with, because if you apply it as this blanketed rule to life, then there's no nuance, there's no room for discussion. Granted, when branching and fractals happen, there is like this yes-no, 0 and 1 binary situation. However, gradients show the fact that there's fall off in the universe, which means things are not exactly flipped 0 to 1. Things are along 0 to tween 1 and onwards and backwards. So that being said, math varies along this filament and along the magnetic field. Therefore, you have things like variance and Planck's constant. You have cosmological constant, like made-up numbers in order to support larger theories. You have estimations in terms of half-life dating. You have extrapolations that are made from an Earth-centric and time-centric node that we are applying to all sorts of historical time periods and epochs, but that doesn't seem to be correct. Or at least it's unverifiable, because I think that attributes are electrical, and depending on where you are in space, things are what they are. So we happen to exist on Earth right now with a certain set of math paradigms that are good to explain a certain number of things around us. But you can also write a number that's imaginary, and you can create something in math that you cannot reify as a physical manifestation. Therefore, math is not the objective truth. And, you know, it could be talked about and argued about for hours and hours, but that's the real truth, is that you can write things that cannot happen in real life. And therefore, math cannot be the ultimate. And then further, do you think that when your mind is working that, yes, you're going to come to a decision, you're going to come to a snap judgment. Therefore, there is this idea of flipping a switch on and off. I don't disagree with that. However, I think that within culture, they're definitely much more gray than black and white. And the idea of the yin-yang is really not what people seem to understand it as, because it seems much more logical to embrace the shape that needs the other shape in order to exist, as opposed to saying it's one eating the other. No, it's one coexisting with the other. And ultimately, what does the yin-yang really show is that it shows the larger circle together. It's not about the black or the white. It's actually about both of them. That's the whole fun of the yin-yang, is that it creates a larger object. So, forgive me for disagreeing, and respectfully to all the mathematicians, but I've had friends who are actual mathematicians who decry the public state of math and physics to me personally, because it's this world of imaginary things and graphs that are trying to represent the reality that we see around us as best they can, but it is treated as a religion and as a it's almost, you know, there's no other word. It's a religion at this point, where we have deified people who know math over just your average person. And that's just like saying that for some reason, like, because I can play guitar, then I'm better than someone else. That's ridiculous. You know, like, these types of paradigms are just terrible for culture and for working together. Everybody has to have their own skill set. So if somebody knows math or has a PhD in math, it doesn't automatically make them right. It just makes them have a PhD in math. And what else? What else can I say about it? Let's see. So 24 goes, frequencies in alignment. Michael Wise says, I believe frequencies come from the movement of particles in the ether. I wonder if the frequency doesn't exist first and then we see matter because of the frequency, the rate of vibration. Golden ratio, golden spiral, spiral out, spiral in. Yeah, along the spiral, it's all gray. It's not black and white, I don't think. So what is the frequency of moonlight? Dragon's Den and several others have asked me about things like the temperature of the moonlight, the distance of the moon. So there are certain things that government agencies lie about, and there are certain things that they don't. And it seems like the distance of the moon seems correct, and although I would say it's an optical measurement for me, I've done certain parallax tests, I've done 3D tests, I've checked a lot of different methods of measuring the moon, and for me it seems like it is at about 250,000 miles away, and it's a quarter the size of Earth, and it rotates. And I can prove that it rotates showing libration. So the light of the moon and the heat of the light of the moon and the frequency of the radiation is something that's really hard to test without really high caliber tools. And further, if you're just testing from a place on Earth without the right settings and the right types of situations, you're really basically contaminating the experiment. There's so many tests because of some certain conspiracy theories where people are 100% sure that they're doing this experiment correctly, or any experiment, but you realize no experiment is devoid of the input of the user. So if you're setting up an experiment, you're going to try and make it work. So there's this kind of dance between the person who tests something and the test itself. What's much nicer is to understand that the world is perfect because you're actually experiencing it, and let it be, and just enjoy that it exists, as opposed to constantly trying to qualify something in order to prove a point. The whole point is that you're not supposed to prove a point. Let's see. Duplicat says, also in the physical world, there's no such thing as negative. Negative is a value that only exists in math. Well, I mean, that's a great point. It's one of those things or 1 over 0, for example. Or even there's a whole series or a whole subset of math called imaginary numbers and using variables. Math is wonderful. I mean, I'm not saying math is bad in any way. It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing. And it allows us to do incredible things on Earth. However, you can also write things in math that are not real, but you can't. But there are real things that we don't have the math to explain, right? So there are tons of cosmological questions and scientific questions, and escape velocity and orbital velocity and gravitational questions that are inexplicable, even with the most advanced math. So that's where it comes down to, it's not a question of whether math is good or bad, it's just that math fails. It's like a language. It's a great language, but it's a language. And there are words that I can say floopy doop, and there's no such thing as a floopy doop, but stealing a page out of Rick and Morty, but floopy doops, that's not a thing. But if I say apple, that's a thing. We've used words to describe things that we see and things that exist. But we can still say things that don't exist. Now, you can come into the metaphysical, philosophical debate as to what is existence, and if you say something, doesn't that exist by virtue of you having made the vibration happen? So maybe there's a floopy doop now in the world, but it's much more likely that there's an apple than there's a floopy doop. Anyway, this all came from, let's see, It came from, the statement that math does not lie. And so, yeah, that's why I was like, math does not lie, but really does it? Doesn't it? I mean, like it does. Like, math constantly comes up with, that's how you actually solve in math. Like, there are lots of times math really doesn't make sense. And then you have to fix it and rejigger it until it does make sense. So the math is not, doctrine or rule set. And also, even when you have a set of rules, there are always new and more refined rule sets and toolkits that you can use. So to say that rules are even themselves rules are not really rules. They're mostly variable. They're best practices. Pretty much everything is best practice at this point. Awfully swifty of me, yeah, I know. Duplicate says, I love math too, but I understand it's used to describe something, though it doesn't explain it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, freaking love it, and music and all this stuff is all interrelated with math, so not sitting here denouncing or decrying math as great. However, there is a really weird juxtaposition of, oh, you have a math degree or you're a PhD in something, therefore you're right about something. That doesn't mean, I don't think that's correct. I think it just means that that person has a degree in astrophysics or a degree in math. There are many, many architects that are not right every time they make a house. They just got a degree in architecture and they know a little bit more about architecture than the next person. Or a doctor, not like, think about how many doctors are produced, but like, does any single one of them have, that's it. I'm going to doctor you completely. You're fully doctored now. I'm the most doctor of doctors. I'm the Rickest Rick, there is no such thing. It's just everybody has their story. And what's fun is, is kind of monitoring and watching the story, as opposed to trying to rectify the story and make everybody indoctrinated, or that's really one of the better episodes of Rick and Morty, the whole, not Get Swifty, but the Citadel of Ricks. And I missed which song you were asking about. Sorry, Ellie. What's the name of the tune? I'm not sure which one was playing. Was it this one? This one's a new little jam. It's like a minute long. Howie Dunn says, should we be able to see 53 miles in diameter Tycho with the unaided eye at 200? I mean, read your question and you'll see that it's just about the way you're phrasing it, which makes it like that you're insinuating. Like, why not? Why shouldn't we be able to? Like, who has the rule book that says we should or shouldn't be able to see a 53-mile diameter crater at 238,885 miles? NASA? You're going to go trust them with that? Or you're going to trust the government or your high school teacher? Or you're going to trust the fact that you're looking outside and seeing the moon with your own eyes? Like, you know what I mean? Pickle Rick. It's funny that Pickle Rick almost dies because he just rolls out into the street. He has a total deus ex machina with that one, where it turns from a really sunny day to rain. Otherwise, basically, Rick is dead. They really they just hop and skip over that one. Okay, some people's eyesight is better than others, sure, but that's not uncommon. Many people can see Tycho with their naked eye. Such a naked eye. It's a naked eye. All right, gotta stretch the legs. What up, y'all? Alright. I got myself a beer, actually. I so rarely drink, and I so rarely drink on the show, but I'll toast y'all with a Patagonia Cerveza Bohemian Pilsner. So cheers to y'all. Hope you're feeling well this Saturday night. Brothers, the Great Spirit is angry with our enemies. He speaks in thunder, and the earth swallows up villages and drinks up the Mississippi. The great waters cover the lowlands. Their corn cannot grow. The Great Spirit will sweep those who escape to the hills from the earth with his terrible breath. Your blood is white. You do not believe the Great Spirit has sent me. You shall know. I leave Taketbachi directly, and I shall go straight to Detroit. When I arrive there, I will stamp on the ground with my foot and shake down every house in Taketbachi. It is well known among the Native American tribes that the wisdom of the ages is passed down from generation to generation. I don't think that any of us can definitely prove that there isn't an ancient science for predicting the future from collective memory of the distant past. One can only speculate that Tecumseh knew which natural signs to look for, and there were plenty of natural occurrences during this time period for the Tecumseh to draw from. Native peoples heavily relied on stones to explain the natural world and its phenomena. Had he been taught from childhood what to look for? Or had there been a large number of mild or moderate tremors in the region that tipped him off? Also, it's no secret that animals and insects do not seem to be able to sense such events. It has scientifically been recorded that catfish behave strangely right before earthquakes. Chickens have been known to stop laying eggs. Dogs and cats bark and whine for no apparent reason, and other animals show signs of stress before such events. Are they just simply feeling the foreshocks that predict earthquake? Could it be that since native peoples are more in tune with nature, that the Tecumseh were more in tune with what was happening in the world? In a world that white people did not understand when it came to earthquakes. How much of an influence of Tecumseh's prophecy had to do with other unusual phenomena of the time remains unknown. The Great Comet of 1812, which was seen for over 260 nights, was so large that it had been estimated to have been over 1 million miles across, almost 50% larger than our own sun. Since the comet was becoming more visible during the New Madrid earthquakes in December of 1811, arriving almost in conjunction with a fiery comet rushing across the horizon, it must have also struck fear into many of the native people's hearts. After all, wasn't the comet all part of Chief Tecumseh's prophetic prediction of the Great Fire coming across the sky? Here too, the ability to predict the future was part of many Native American tribes, and the Shawnee culture and religion did acknowledge that many of the leaders and medicine men of such tribes could predict the future based on their extensive traditional lore. Shawnee cosmology dictated that catastrophic things happen when people do not follow the warnings and laws of the given deities. Certainly the sanctity of ancestral lands and the obligation to protect them from their invaders were in fact simply common sense to a certain degree. Muskogee Creeks, Red Sticks, shared very similar belief systems and alliances with the Shawnee. Both were among the 5 civilized tribes. When it came to Red Stick Creeks and the others who joined in the Native American Confederation of the War of 1812, it really did not matter whether or not Chief Tecumseh and his prophet brother could actually predict the future. All that was important was that they believed they were in right. The Great Spirits did indeed seem angry. Belief in something is sometimes all the power a leader needs to motivate his soldiers into action. Surprisingly, Tecumseh, although angered when they first refused to join in, needed them as much as he needed guidance. The Red Sticks had a long history of being fierce warriors who trained since birth for war. When Tecumseh lost his life shortly thereafter, the decisions made by those Native American leaders who remained in the war spelled the beginning of the end for the American Native peoples and their way of life. It would also prove to be the complete loss of their native lands to the invading white settlers and rulers. All right. What row? I'm on the sauce. That was a little piece from, I think Tess Clark linked that in the Electric View channel, and it's about the Great Comet that lasted almost a year back in the early 1800s. I'm going to link y'all to that I just read. Ellie says, I thought you might have played that tune that you had an unusual title for, something about useless arguments. Trying to think. Let me know if I missed you, if you joined. I hope everybody's feeling all right. The moon is definitely shifting, going through very high altitude at this point, so the jet stream is kind of catching it. I'm not sure if it's worth zooming in even, just seeing a nice shot of the 94%, almost full. Couple days. Here, let's type in moon news. This is what I do when I have a moment. One day ago from Politico says, Pence plants a moon tree, but will it grow? Small crowd of blah, 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 blah. Public press event. Space.com says, NASA opens untouched Apollo moon rock sample for first time in 40 years. 40 years. Okay, that's pretty interesting. NASA has unsealed one of its last untouched samples of Apollo moon rock to prepare for the return of new material by future lunar missions. All right, so CNN echoes that same article. Linda Luna Gasiliena. I'm trying to get better at Spanish. It's slow going. All right. 13WLOX says Biloxi resident helps plant moon tree at VP's residence. Gross. Okay, Tweaktown. NASA has opened up a flawless extraterrestrial moon rock from 1972. All right, this article I haven't read before, so I feel like this is the headline of the day. I'm gonna see what they're gonna say about it at space.com, and they're gonna probably spam me with ads. All right, scientists at Johnson Space Center opened the Apollo 17 recovered sample on Tuesday. The 1.5-inch wide centimeter tube holding a small stash of moon rocks and dust was sealed by astronauts Gene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt during their second of 3 moonwalks on December 12, 1972. I'll be right back. Y'all need an ashtray. Mary, have a great night. Your carriage is here, madame. Oh, I love the carousel. I used to love that as a kid. All right, Mary, catch you soon. It's never a bad time. That duplicate, year-long comet, well, 260 days. It would move much slower and electrically charged. That would be such a slow mover and electrically charged body. I want to bring it up with the Electric View Cats. Talk to them about it.
I left home at 17. Couldn't tell you if I was living a dream. What could I do? For a while I played the field. How could I prove the hidden yield without the blues to feel? My heart was cruel and left no residue. Catch me if you fall, catch me when you're low. Look goes higher, his friends used to know. Catch you when you fall, catch you when you're low. I love you, take a good look, it's a simulation. Wake up, it's solitary. Wake up, it's imaginary. And don't you know, your life is worth more than Watch it, take a good look, it's a simulation. Wake up, it's solitary. Wake up, it's imaginary. Man, don't you know, your life is worth more than is high enough, as fast as you can go. Oh, catch me if you fall, catch me when you're low.
What do you think? Asteroid? Satellite? Meteor? Check it out. Love it. M42 and the Transit. Epic timing. so funny. This is like the old school one, except the last one I caught like this was passing near Jupiter. It was the one that was on, was it Secure Team? Shocked astronomer catches insane craft speeding through deep space. Part 2. Part 3 probably. I know I've done it a couple of times, but look at this. I love seeing it in context with the other stars. And just keeping, the scope is basically moving further and further east right now. So east, down and east. Sorry, wait, what is that? Down and to the left. Down and to the left. Oh, whoops. Now it's finally, it's changed. Damn. Hold on. I gotta recenter that. Oh yeah. I don't think this is a spacecraft. Honestly, I feel like if we had like a super advanced craft, they wouldn't follow a trajectory like this or be seen at all. It's very likely a satellite like a GPS or a Cosmos or Iridium sat. But it also could be like, I don't know, it could be a meteor or an asteroid. I don't know, but it's probably a satellite, honestly. Confirmed it's a meteor. It could be a meteor. Definitely, like, these are tracked for so long. Satellites usually don't stay in the sky for that long, but it depends. Some do. I'm gonna keep going as long as it lets me.
You heard, I believe it, make it beautiful. You don't have to say a word. If you can love other people, just forget about what you heard. I believe it, make it beautiful. I'm shining my light, shining through the prison dagger, shining my love, turning into Give you love and a common peace. Feel your pain cause it's part of me. Know you really think when your body's built. I'm amazed by the words on your lips. Hear your name when you come in peace. It's insane that you're part of me. Never lifts from my iron wrists. It's as if everybody is the same body. Insane that you want for relief. Maybe one day suddenly I am made up the way that somebody someday, but we're gonna slip. Here in space now we come in peace. Seeing things that you cannot believe. Ready to trip on the drift. We can lift to the doom. Cause I love to give you. We are the space race. We are the moonwalk. We are the franchise. We are the sequel. Made of the ether. How are we still here? For your place along the space race. Standing at the light corner on a beach outside of heaven. Across the street from where I grew up after bomb and rains. Somehow we lived, somehow we died, somehow we came back to the city side and drive through civilized genocide. We had no fight with your armies, held down from the Western forces. Had no love for the army, we bear no hate for the Western forces. When you speak out, when you sing loud, everybody wanna tear you down. But come on, come on, come on, step to me. I got nothing but love to give you. We are the space race, we are the moonwalk, we are the franchise, we are the sequel, made of the ether. How are we still here? Look for your place along the space race.
Yeah, I think I lost it. Damn. That was crazy, y'all. What? That was like a solid 10 minutes or more. Hell yeah. Let's go back and get a little bit more of M42 before it disappears and back to the moon. Woo.
See
back on it. Got M42. I'm bragging a little bit, but I'm finding M42 blind because I can't really lean over and see through the viewport, so I'm just like sort of getting it. And somehow it's just showing up in view, so feeling good tonight. Holy shikes, that's crazy. Quick shouts to Imagine and Masked Bishop and Cleary. Final Frontier is great. And who else joined? Noella and Lady Gold. Alright. A little bit of squelchy bass, a little bit of M42, and we'll hit the moon. I mean, just go there.
Inside my soul, you keep me waiting. You keep me deep inside your soul. I keep you waiting. I keep you deep inside my soul. You keep me waiting. You keep me deep inside your soul. You keep me waiting. Somehow every man goes back times in the dust. Only everyone was us. We edged it once and there was this trust. We lasted, we don't ignore the thru. I lived it once and took a mistake. Now into true. Tell the world what's new. Hues and blue broken from the nest. As the sea rising from the west. Old time. See my rivers wide. Close eyes. Open my visions wide. Open skies. Clear the rivers wide. Old tides. Bring my peace to light. Deep inside your soul, you keep me waiting. You keep me deep inside your soul. I keep you waiting. I keep you deep inside your
Cheers, y'all. Really fun night turned out to be. 12:21 a.m. It is Sunday. Lots of numerology going on. 11, 10, 9. I see on my screen. 2s and 1s and 1s and 0s. What does it all mean? I got this song coming up, and the door is actually blocking the nebula a little bit. It would be even clearer. So I'm gonna hit up the moon and Sirius and check out. See if we can't see the Cat's Eye Nebula. I'm not sure we can, but let's see. Not even close. It's like northwest, completely on the other side. Sorry about that. Hope the solo makes up for it.
to slow it down. My friends, I know it's hard sometimes, and we can make it. Don't you try? Don't you try? Your mind is blown away. The car, the heart now hears the sun. Someday you're gone. We live in fascination of our heartbeats. Never aboard, never aboard, never aboard.
Yo, yo, what's up, more Jello? And thanks, Mass Bishop. And what's up, Polly B? How you doing? And thanks, Keith, for stopping by. You see, Keith has the wrench. Keith is the only other person who has the wrench. Has a wrench. Keep up the great work, bud. Yo, what's up, Kimmy? How's it going? Nice to see everybody. I know we're missing a few people, but oh, there they showed up. What's up, Bon Dia? Definitely missing a couple of people. Hope they reach out and come through at some point in the future. In the future. It's just YouTube, you know? Clap. So it's good to see everybody. I really appreciate it. If you missed it earlier, I caught like a crazy, I think it was a satellite, likely, from, I was framed in on M42, trapezium, the Hatsia, set up the nebula, and then at the bottom of the frame I caught this satellite, or like little streak of light coming through. I was able to track it for like upwards of 10 minutes. Probably the third one I've ever done like that. So definitely take a look at that tomorrow, or yeah, don't worry about it now. And M42 is looking good, and Sirius is looking great. Tonight is like a perfectly sharp night. I should get beer number 2. Man, I never drink really anymore. So one beer is like just a nice buzz going. The moon is quite blurry right now. I think it's because it's so high up and it's kind of interfering, like the roof is interfering with it a little bit. So I'm just gonna hang on the moon for a bit in the wide shot, play some grooves and talk to y'all, and then hopefully it'll get a little crispier and we can do some zoomed in shots. You see, like, I think the air currents are really messing with it. Alright, let me find something here. What can I mess with? Yo, what up, Tony Logan? Says, is it right that the moon is not solid? The moon certainly seems solid from my viewpoint. Definitely looks like what you and I know as rock and gravel and iron and dust. Alright, I've been curious as well. Let's figure out where this rabbit in the moon is per PolyB's request. Yeah, it's tough. I need to have Mari Crisium up at the top in order to make it right. And if I turn the camera anymore, I'm going to cut the cord. It's all good, but I'm going to sketch some other stuff that I see on the moon. I'll show you all some weirder, crazier things than a rabbit. And I got to find something to go along with it. What goes along with it? Probably this. Tuner Loons. From the Mooner Dudes. The Mooner Dunes.
for the edge, flip it for the world, flip it for the edge. rescue of a three-man. Left fixing the phone, mixing your liquids, now you're left for dead. Just pay your debts. Float, the moon is calling. A souvenir, a soon's rescue of a three-man. Left fixing the phone, mixing your liquids, now you're left for dead. Just pay your debts. Float, the moon is calling. A souvenir, a soon's rescue of a three-man. Left fixing the phone, mixing your liquids, now you're left for dead. Just pay your debts. Float, a formidable opponent, an angry crackpot, formidable opponent.
All right, that's the craziest thing that I see on the moon. So it's this woman, like trapped inside a sphere, and she's walking along this pathway, and the face is obviously a little bit distorted, but the dress and the way it waves and the two legs, when like right now it's a little dim even, but let me see if I can make it a bit brighter. I'm gonna show and hide it. Show and hide. The opposite of show and tell. 1 second. There we go. She's walking along this path and she's almost looking at you. She almost has like a creepy, like a crazy looking face. Yeah, what do y'all think? I got one more after this. There's this guy on the right side, like a blues brother, like a blind musician of some sort. But this one, I should save this. Anyway, I've saved it by doing it. That's the Lady of the Moon. So Tycho crater is the sun, and the darkened regions, what is that? Humorum and, what is it? Humorum and, no, Nectaris and, damn, what's the other one? I forgot. But anyway, north of Tycho. All right, I'll do one more sketch here.
television. Coherent integration. Separated television. Suffering out of balance. Separation.
What up, space people? Alright, rolling up here. Almost 3 hours in. I'm gonna start wrapping it up shortly, unless you have any questions. I think the skies are pretty turbulent. I'm not sure if we're gonna get some zooms. And also it's been pretty satisfying with the sketching. I drew that whole thing, that crazy lady in the moon, and then capturing the satellite with M42. A couple more shots of the moon, and maybe one more of M42 if I can still get it. I'm about ready to kick and just lay down and fall into the abyss of dreams. We have a packed house tonight though. Thank you all for hanging out. As soon as I said that, OBS started dropping some MFing frames. What the hell? I guess I contaminated the stream. Anyway, I thank you all. Let's see. Don't drop, don't drop. I'll give it a second to catch up. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Let me know if it got back. It says green here, but the dashboard says... Okay, there it is. Now it's synced up. It's just about time. So let's do roll call. I never want this tune to end. That's why I should never start it. Alright, how we done? Thanks so much. More Jello, please. Have a great night. 24/7 live. Great for the chat and the hangout. Ellie Wynn, always the best. Where we go? Scroll, scroll, scroll. Fantasy Ecstasy, take care. I flipped the OBS input feed. I figured out how to do transforms, so that's awesome. Kimmy, thanks so much. And Bon Dia I saw. Have a great night. Duplicat, Keep those comments rolling. And Light Moon, and Polly B, and Scott Ferguson, and Mask Bishop, and P&K. That's all I have in my list because there were a lot of comments. But I know a lot more people stopped by. I'll catch y'all again tomorrow. Remember to replay the stream to check out the satellite or meteor transit, and also some dope M42. Alright, a few more tracks. We'll roll it out of here. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Quick shout out to all the Electric Universe channels. I'll go through that roll call real quick. Tomorrow, check out the Electric View if you want to hear more of me whining about space, interrupting and throwing out some cool ideas, whatever you like. The Electric View, and then Thunderbolts Project, of course, Electric Terra Vision, and Greg J, and Electric Universe Eyes, and Kronos, and See the Pattern. And there are others. Many, many others. Definitely look into Velikovsky and Halton Arp if you've never heard of them before. And Silent Murmur. Be well. Duplicant. Peace, lunatics.
That's the knowledge you can need. It's all the hidden cause and secret lands. Other things. Such a critical need. Technology by himself. Real to me, real to me. Make it real. Far as I can see, it's all of us. Catching a dream of a creature of the sea. Once imagine space and time, space and time, space and time, space remains high, space remains high, space beneath dry, space just get high, space just say hi. Space, but take high. Space and take high. Space and everyone. Swallow the storm, cause of the light. You are